Hi, my name is DelmarshaeWalker. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing great today. I think we can kind of see what's been going on lately, that we need to look at the situation when dealing with children a little more serious. Um, as of when I'm recording this video, there was this child that shot their teacher. And they're saying it was in, I think it was in Virginia, and they were saying that it was done intentionally, that this child brought a gun to school and their only desire was to shoot this particular teacher. And so a lot goes through my head as far as what would happen to make a child feel like, what is going on between the child and the teacher, that they feel like they needed to shoot their teacher. Where did the child get the gun from? And what conversation or what have they been hearing or seeing that this was their only recourse, was to shoot their teacher? It wasn't, let me go talk to my parents, let me talk to a principal, talk to someone, let me just go ahead and shoot my teacher. And because I don't know what's going on, they haven't, in the news, well, we don't know what's going on, they haven't said anything as far as this is what happened, this is how it, why the students said they did it or anything like that. So I'm not going to talk on that subject, because like I said, we don't know what's going on in that situation. But it is a lot of questions that I would like answers to, or we would like answers to, especially when it's concerning the child. What is that child going through that they felt that it was that he felt that that was his only recourse? But what I wanted to also focus on is also, I seen another thing. This happened actually in the end of 2022, where a mother allowed her 10-year-old son to get a tattoo, and he got a tattoo of his name in big block letters. I think it was like on the inside of his arm, in New York. And in New York, they have a law that, you have to be 18 in order to get a tattoo. Some other states, I think you could be like 14 as long as you have your parents' permission to get a tattoo, and they allow you to get a tattoo. I think we're getting out of hand with allowing kids to make certain decisions for themselves. It's like, as adults, especially as parents, we're supposed to be the ones looking out for our kids. We're supposed to be the ones taking care of the kids. And we're supposed to be the ones guiding our kids to make right decisions, to make better decisions. And we're also supposed to be protecting our kids from certain things. Certain things kids should never have to worry about. Certain things should never be a part of a child's conversation. And when it becomes political, where they're allowing kids to make a decision about what gender they want to be besides the one that they was born into, when it becomes political, where these teachers feel like their only responsibility is to educate kids about transgender, to educate kids about sex, it should be a law that when it comes to certain things, like even with the situation with the tattoo, the mother stated that she thought her son asked, hey, can I get a temporary tattoo? And she was okay with that. And so they charged her with child endangerment because she allowed the child to get a tattoo. But when these kids make decisions to have their sex change, they're fine with that. And so I want to read one thing, Dr. And this is in the situation with the child that got the tattoo, the 10-year-old. Is Dr. Carl Bronner. She's a pediatric and a pediatrician and a professor at the University of Washington Medical Center, Seattle's Children's Hospital. And she stated it is a permanent mark or symbol you are putting on your body. And I don't think kids under 18 have the kind of authority to make a decision like that. So if she's feeling that a child cannot make a decision to get a tattoo because it's a permanent mark that's been put on their body, which is not going to affect them in any other type of way other than anytime they look at it, they're going to be reminded of that decision they made, or somebody else might look at that tattoo and form a judgment about them. But as far as their reproduction organs, as far as them being able to produce children in the future, if they ever decide to, that hasn't been ruined. But they're allowing these kids to make a decision saying, I want to have my breast cut off. I want to take hormones. And this is permanently damaging them in the same way. So if a child don't have the wherewithal to make a decision to get a tattoo, something that's going to be permanent on them, where do they get the wherewithal to make a permanent decision that's going to affect their bodies for the rest of their lives? So it should be a law in place that these kids cannot make these decisions to alter their bodies in any type of way until they are age of 18. They should not be able to take hormones that's going to alter the way their body naturally is designed to take effect, designed to mature. They should not be able to take those pills because medication is damaging. If they're going under anesthesia to have surgery that's not necessary, they can die under anesthesia. They can have complications. Other things can happen. They can end up going into a coma being under anesthesia. So you're jeopardizing your child's health and also jeopardizing their lives when they're making these decisions. So overall, protecting kids. And the reason I brought up the situation with the young man in the beginning who shot his teacher, because I wanted to share a video with you as far as how they're perceiving his mental state. You know, there was kind of like talking about his mental state as far as a child being that young, making that kind of decision. So I want to share that video with you.
School-age children, especially so young, they process trauma differently than adults. They are grieving in a sense because the normalcy of their experiences has now changed.
Is a 6-year-old even able to comprehend the severity of this shooting?
I would say, and this is without meeting the child, I would have a very hard time as a professional thinking and that this child could truly process the gravity of their actions.
Yet Williams says the shooting involving a 6-year-old is a case like no other, leading her to recommend parents to encourage their children to share their feelings.
It wouldn't surprise me that it would take months or years for the impact of this trauma to truly settle in for those individuals.
She also says parents should have a conversation at home about gun violence to help them process what they experienced.
Yes, because we make assumptions that our children are innocent and they don't know. And if we have conversations, we will be surprised at what they pick up.
You just don't see this happen in the legal system where you've got someone so young intentionally using a firearm against another person.
CBS 6 legal analyst Todd Stone says what happens next for the child is unknown. Per Virginia law, he cannot be tried as an adult, and he'd be too young to go into a detention center if found guilty in court. And finding guilt in a 6-year-old is a heavy burden for prosecutors to bear.
When you're talking about a 6-year-old, you've got a very, very undeveloped mind, and it's a difficult thing for the criminal system to give any sort of accountability to a 6-year-old mind.
Okay, so as you can see, medical profession, different people agree that at a certain age, these kids are too young to make decisions that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives. Sometimes they're not mature enough to even fully grasp or fully understand the decision they're making. And with kids, if any parent have a child or had a child or been around kids, they know sometimes there could be kids that are very rebellious. They will do any and everything that you don't want them to do. And then you know you have some kids that are pleasers. If they see they're getting attention from their parents, they will do things just to please their parents, even if it's not something they really want to do, but just to get that positive feedback. And if they're making their parents happy, they're gonna do it. So some of these kids really don't want to be a girl or really don't want to be a boy, but it might be a mother who has a son who really wanted him to be a daughter, but she ended up with the son. So she might coerce him or guide him or push him into that direction. You know, you'll be cute as a girl, or you look cute like this, or let me just put your hair in ponytails. And then the child goes along with it just to make the parent happy. And then sometimes it's the parent, the ones that's making these decisions to push the child into changing their sex. Or it's like the Munchausen syndrome, when the parent make the child sick so the parent can get attention. So in certain situations, that's why it's very important to just put the brakes on all that. Let kids be kids. Don't force them on to do something they want to do, because you know, you even hear with like fathers who used to play football or sports, and they wanted their children to be in sports because they was in sports and they played football, and they want their sons to play football, but their sons really don't want to. They just do it to make their father happy. Or you might have kids, every time you turn around, they're saying, oh, I want to do this, I want to play this sport, I want to do this. You say, okay, you invest all this money in it. They go to two practices, and oh, I don't want to go do it no more. But I really wanted to, what I really want to do, you know, when I was on the field, I seen the band. So I want to be in a band. I want to play, you know, a trumpet. So you go invest and get them a trumpet and everything. They change them. So you open the closet, you're looking at all these things they changed their mind about. I really want to do this. And so you're questioning them. They're like, yes, I'm sure, I'm positive. This time is for real. Then they change their mind. And you looking at all these different things they say they wanted to do, but they changed their mind. Kids change their minds sometimes. They might feel passionate at one point in time about something. Then the next thing you know, they don't want to do it anymore, or they're over it, or whatever the case may be. So that's why protect kids by allowing kids to be kids. Don't do anything permanent to them. Kids deal with a lot on mental level because now they have the world in the palm of their hands. That doesn't come with instruction. That doesn't come with explanation. How many parents really sit down and have a conversation with their kids about what they're seeing on the internet? How many parents really have conversation to explain to kids what they're seeing on the internet, or question their kids about what they're seeing on the internet? They don't. So it's like these kids got the world with all this information coming at them, but there's no explanation for what they're seeing. There's no understanding of what they're seeing. There's no rule books. There's no guidelines. There's nothing to what they're seeing. And they, at their young age, with no experience with life, have to try to understand and figure it out for themselves. So as parents, as adults, even if these aren't your kids, you're still responsible for them if they're in your care. And you should treat them with respect. You should, the same way you would want to be treated. You don't want someone to force you to do something permanent to your body. If I took an adult right now, some of these people who's saying, yeah, let your kids make their decision, let your kids do this and do that. If I went and said, okay, I'm gonna give you a tattoo, and the tattoo is gonna be whatever I want it to be on your face, you're gonna think I was the worst person in the world. How dare you want to put a permanent mark on me, and then I gotta walk around like this for the rest of my life? But that's what y'all doing to those kids. And if you don't want someone to do something to you, don't do it to someone else, especially to children. That is the most sickening thing I ever seen. Is why are y'all so hell bent on changing these children's gender, something that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives? These kids are going to be permanently scarred in ways that y'all don't even know, ways that y'all don't even know how it's going to affect them moving forward, how they're going to see the world from this point on. It might make some people cold to the fact that they could see other people getting hurt and feel like, well, no one saved me when I was a child, so why should I speak up for this other child? Why should I stand up and look at, why should I care about what's happening in the world? Nobody cared about me. No one stopped my parents. No one stopped this doctor that was a quack who, or no one stopped the person who actually did the surgery. There was no one to protect me. So why should I care about what's going on in the world? Why should I care about other people being hurt? So you're supposed to be pushing people out there. You're supposed to develop kids and send them out in the world to care about other people, to respect other people, to want to help other people, and things like that. And when you're damaging them to the point that they're dealing with so much traumatic issues in their lives, it make it hard for them to care for the next person, because they're too busy dealing with their pain. So please, please, please stop. Please, somebody make a law that they cannot permanently, if a person cannot, in certain states, I know it's different in certain states, that a child cannot just get a tattoo, because they done arrested the tattoo artist as well. If they cannot get a tattoo, which is a permanent mark to their body, they should not be able to do anything permanent to their body like they're allowing them to do when it comes to their gender. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm praying for that teacher that got shot. I hope everything, I hope she's all right. I hope everything work out for her. Like I said, I don't know what went on in that situation. I'm very curious to understand and know what's going on. And I also pray for that child, because it's really something going on with, it's easy to say, oh, he got a gun, he shot. No, why would a child feel like they needed to get a gun and shoot a teacher? What's going on in that situation? And so I do also pray for that child, that they do get the help that they need, and that this situation is really investigated, because like I said, is it something going on in school that made him feel like he needs to shoot the teacher? Is it something that's going on at home? Is it a combination of both? But, I truly pray for that situation with that child. So I would like to leave it here. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your day.